And Steven, yeah.
Hey.
Steven, yeah.
Fiona in the house.
Steven, yeah.
Fiona in the house.
This is Steven Voyce.
Fiona in the house. She's in the house, yeah.
Welcome, guests, to the Humble Lion Podcast, episode 7.
7?
I think.
Lucky number 7.
Today, I like to break it up into 4 topics.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 topics that I would like to talk about with you are addiction, because we have both suffered from that, so I think that's super important. What is the other things that we spoke about? Opportunities and seeking them and you know, shunning away the ones that are not meant for us.
Yeah.
Third is limitless creativity.
Yes.
Just being
who you are.
Being who you are, and like also embracing the master of none and how we can get ahead by not, you know, just focusing on one thing.
You do it all. And then fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
And we disagree on that, because you think that you can fake it till you make it, and I disagree. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I'm leaving right now.
Yeah.
My agent told me everything I'd say would be... I'm joking, right?
And we're also going to get into accents. We're going to do like...
I can't stop the accents. It's going to keep happening.
It's going to happen authentically. So
have I used my real voice yet?
No, I don't think you've...
This is how I really sound.
This is how you
This
really
is my real voice. Okay, so now you have it. Okay.
So let's get into addiction. I want to talk about it because it's so important. How has addiction affected you?
I think addiction runs in my family.
Okay. And it normally does. It's normally like passed on.
Yeah, it's passed on. And I know my mom suffered from alcoholism and all that stuff. And when she passed away, honestly, before she passed, I didn't really consider myself as someone that was addicted to anything, because I wasn't. But when she passed, I needed something to cope with.
Okay.
And I found myself just doing all the things that she did. I went beyond that. She just drank. I drank and I took any drug that would numb me. And I did that for a full year. I think there's a full year of my life I don't remember, like, at all. Like,
just like blackout.
It's
every
a blackout.
night.
It's a blackout. I was in the hospital in and out. I don't remember which hospitals. I just have the hospital cards, but no memory of why I have those cards.
That's insane. Like, drugs did that, or alcohol?
It was everything.
Everything.
It was everything. I was taking anything and everything that I could come across. It got much more darker than that. I mean, I did actually attempt to kill myself.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Okay, I mean, I'm still here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but it happened, and I think most people say stuff like, "Yeah, I tried to kill myself, and last second I didn't do it." Blah blah blah. No, I did it. Like, I did it. The only reason I didn't die is because reasons. I think I remember when it happened. I remember taking the pills. I remember going to the... It's gonna sound dark as hell, but I remember going to the drugstore that day where I decided today's the day I'm done. I went to the pharmacy and I bought like a buttload of sleeping pills, like a lot, to the point where, like, if I was the pharmacist or the person, the clerk, I would have been like, how many sleeping pills do you need? But it surprised me how easy it was for me to just go buy like a lot. It was, I think, 5 or 6 bottles. I just bought them and they just like, yeah, and they passed it. I remember going home. I remember going there wanting a sign, like something to tell me not to do it. I was hoping maybe that the clerk would stop me and be like, question me, and didn't. So I just went, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So I remember doing that. I remember going home. I remember sitting down on my computer and I was doing stuff, but I just took pill after pill after pill after pill. I just kept taking it. I don't remember how many I took, but I took a lot, and I didn't feel anything. And at some point I actually forgot what I was doing. And then I got up, and the second I got up, my body went into... It's like it felt like my whole body just got sucked into a black hole. And I remember that moment I felt like I'm dying. Like, I felt the feeling of dying. Like, it was just like it was like being sucked into nothingness. It just felt like this is it.
Oh my
God. For some reason, I decided to message my little sister, actually. And I messaged her and I said something like, I'm sorry. Something like that. But I think that rang alarms, because she tried to message me after that. I didn't respond, and I woke up the next day in the hospital with IV and whatnot, and I have no idea. Like, the only thing I remember from that is remember hearing my little sister crying when I think it was the ambulance. I think. But I remember hearing her cry, and I remember telling myself, like, I can't believe I did this to them.
To them.
To them.
Yeah.
I remember that, and then I woke up the next day. But you would think that would have woken me up from like not trying to do what I was doing, and like I stopped trying to hurt myself, but I kept taking drugs and whatever. And then one day I just saw myself in the mirror and I did not like what I saw. Like it was like a moment, like, you know, when like if you ever got high perpetually, there's a moment where you're coming down, and if you're always high, you don't allow yourself to get down. But for a split moment, I got down, I was coming down, and I saw myself in the mirror, and I hated that person so much. And then that day I decided that I needed to stop being that person, and I decided I needed to find an outlet to channel whatever I was going through and push it into something else. And that's when I started turning to music. Honestly, music before that was always a passion, but I don't think I ever took it that serious. But
or use that as a form of like
therapy. I didn't. It was just like I knew I was good at it, and I tried it, and I was doing it, but I wasn't doing it. But when I started talking about how I was feeling and letting that out slowly but surely, it was helping. And I remember the first time I put out one of my really dark songs about where I was, and someone wrote back saying that it helped them get through where they were, and it made me realize
that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, helping others, right? And I realized that in helping myself, I could also help others. And slowly but surely, I decided that I needed to keep doing what I was doing and use this as a means to get out of this dark place I was in.
Do you still have that song?
Yeah, I have. Like,
like, is that song put out into the world?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Which song is it? It's on the first album.
Okay.
There's actually a few songs along the way.
You should plug your album so people can hear your music.
There's a lot of them. It's gonna be will there be a link somewhere?
Sure.
There'll be links.
Stephen
Voyce. But at that time I was going by the name Voyce versus Stephen Voyce.
Okay.
But there's a whole reason for that. It actually ties into this. It just one day, because like I said, I was using music as a means to get all the darkness out.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to a fourth album, I remember finishing the album, and I remember going like, I'm not in that place anymore. Like, I'm no longer in that dark place. It's like I felt like I just recorded the last song about that period in my life, and I was now ready to move on. And I decided it was time to change, bring in my first name, Steven, into my music. Because also I got tired of people just calling me Voice. I wanted to be like, I'm Steve. I'm Steve, you know? Like, and I felt like for a while, I felt like this was Voice, and this was Steven, and they weren't the same person. There was like the persona that's like the brand, and then there's the person behind the brand. And I felt like, no, I'm all the above. I'm all of it. And I wanted to be seen that way, so I brought Steven into it, and I kept Voice obviously because it's a huge part of who I am. And I felt like the second I did that, I felt whole. I felt like I brought two parts of myself together, and I felt whole. And I feel like the music I've been making ever since has been very reflective of that this new chapter in my life.
And what is that chapter? It's like a lighter chapter, a more happy chapter. Like, what is your music now?
I'm embracing more of all that I am. Like before, I call it the trauma. Before the trauma, I actually listened a lot to like Michael Jackson and Prince and stuff like that, and I love that funk vibe. But I felt when I got into like a really dark place, I was just constantly singing about that. So I wasn't really singing for the sake of enjoying it. I was singing because I had to. And now I find myself going back to my roots as a kid. Like, remember, like, MJ, he's like, do this and do that. I'm like, oh, I want to write like that. I want to start doing that. So like I'm going back, and I feel like a lot of music now is it's a lot more upbeat. There's still a lot of real in what I do. That's never going to leave me. I'm going to always talk about how I feel. But now I'm also incorporating things to make people feel better about themselves. Like, I want to be everything, and not just the guy who talks about pain. I want to be the guy who talks about pain, talks about being happy, talks about love, talks about breakup, talks about everything.
Sings about it too.
All the above.
And you do a really good job at making your music mainstream, but still keeping your touch. Because if you want to really be a star and like make music for the masses, you got to make music for the masses.
Yeah.
So you're doing a good job at like, creating the perfect formula. How did you find the perfect formula to creating a mainstream song?
Oh man, like
it's tough.
It took 4 albums worth of content. But no, it was just, I think you have to go through a lot in life. I'm not saying everyone has to, but I think when you go through a lot in life, you eventually learn about yourself. You learn about what you want. And when you become more sure of who you are, you're able to dig deep and find what you want to put out unapologetically. Yeah. Like, and for me, like, I'm not gonna ever sell out and do a song just because it's a pop song. Like, if I do a pop song, and I've done a few, it's because it's real to me.
Yeah.
It's real to me, And I think you just have to allow yourself. I think every artist should allow themselves to go through their indie phase. Go through it. Go through your indie phase. Put out that content that only you and maybe like 10 people are gonna like really connect to. And then like keep doing that, and you're gonna grow your audience, and you're gonna learn about your own sound. But allow yourself to go through that indie phase, because then when you jump into the mainstream realm, you're gonna know who you are, and you're gonna know how to now take the sound that you currently have and not even tweak it, just make it mainstream for a second. For me, the first mainstream song was Summerlust, and I feel like that's a song that, like, for some people it's like, yeah, it's his first mainstream song. I was like, no, that's years in the making, not the song itself, but a lot of things had to happen for me to get to that point where I was able to make that song. So yeah, go through that indie phase. Allow yourself to discover yourself. Allow yourself to self-discover. I think is really important. Don't worry so much, especially at the beginning, about becoming a pop star. I actually really hate that term, pop star. Like, just create, have fun, allow yourself to dig deep, figure out what you're feeling, put it out into the universe.
Yeah, because it's not the end that matters, it's the process.
It's the process, yeah.
Are you still struggling with addiction?
I think...
in any form?
I find myself actually cutting out all negative. I think we're all addicted in some way to something or another, whether it's negative or positive. I'm finding myself slowly and surely, actually a lot quicker lately, cutting out addictions that I find negative.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so this is not necessarily negative, but as a singer, caffeine is not good for your voice over time. It actually, it dehydrates your voice and actually kills your voice over time. So
not good for me.
Not good at all.
I do want to sing. I gotta cut that shit out. Okay.
Yeah, it's just caffeine is cut out. But like, but I was honestly addicted to coffee. Like, I needed coffee to survive. And then one day, I remember I had a studio session, and I went to the session, and my voice was just not on par. Like, and I was really mad at myself because I was in front of people that wanted to see what I can do, and I couldn't deliver. And I was so mad at myself, and I said, I don't want to ever be in a position where I can't deliver the goods. Especially
when it's within your control.
Yeah,
That's it. So these are things that you can easily just eliminate to make your life easier.
Yeah. So I woke up that next day and I said, you know what, I'm gonna quit caffeine, and I quit it cold turkey. Just quit it. And then about 8 months ago now, I completely quit alcohol completely. Like, alcohol and everything. Any drug, alcohol, anything of that nature, I completely quit. I've been clean.
Have you ever smoked weed?
Of course, yeah. I mean, what
so
are you talking about?
So you don't do that either?
I cut everything. I decided that I want to always be present.
Okay.
Always be present.
That's interesting. So you don't think that, like, taking caffeine would make you present?
I'm not saying it won't make... I think a lot of things you can take can stimulate you to be even more present. I just want to be me. I just want to be me.
Interesting. You want to feel all of your own emotions.
Of my own emotions. And not... Like, for example, when people go out... And I started noticing this when I stopped drinking. I would go out with friends, and they'd need to drink to have fun. Meanwhile, I'm having fun without a drink. Yeah. And I wake up the next day, I'm completely just like, I'm fine. Nothing happened.
There you go.
I spent like $0. But like, yeah, it's just little things like that. I'm just noticing that people do, and I think we do it just because we're told that's what we have to do. Like, we're told, like, if you want to have fun at a bar, you need to drink. But do you? And I love to question everything.
Let's question everything.
Question everything. Question it all. All of it. Let's do it.
All of it. Okay, so let's start with the limitless creativity. Mm-hmm. Do you think that you really do have, like, a bottomless pit of creativity within you?
Hell to hell, yes.
Hell to hell, yes.
Hell to hell, yes.
I love that answer. Hell to hell, yes.
Indeed.
Okay,
Indeed.
But you must have days where you're dry, where you cough and you're like, there's nothing.
I think... I'm a British accent. I think it's possible. I think everybody goes through a phase where, like, they feel like I'm switching accents because I can.
Do you think they'll understand?
Of course they have to. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Wait, maybe we should just keep it normal accent.
No. Okay,
what
fine.
If they don't understand?
Fine. No, I think we all have moments where we have writer's block or creator's block. I think that happens just because you need a break.
Oh,
you need a break. You need to just give yourself a moment to breathe. And I think that's one thing I wouldn't do before. Is I constantly would create, and when my body was telling me, like, Steve, we need a mental break here, I would keep pushing to the point that I'd push and nothing would want to come out, and I'd be frustrated with myself.
Or what came out was crap.
Yeah, it wasn't on par, and it's just because I wasn't listening to myself. And I think that's very important. Listen to yourself. Listen to your body. I think that goes into even, I'm gonna go off topic now, but that goes into like fitness and nutrition and all that stuff. Like, at the end of the day, there's all these tips you can listen to, and they're all probably valid. But for me, probably the most valid tip is listen to yourself.
Yes.
Listen to yourself. Like,
that's huge.
When you're full, you're full. You're like, if you're eating something and it constantly makes you feel a certain way, maybe there's something in it that's not for you. Listen to yourself. But anyway, going back to the creativity, I think that I think everyone is a bottomless pit of creativity, but you, at the same time,
even non-artists.
Even non-artists, I think everyone can tap into something.
Oh, really?
Everyone can tap into something. I think.
Think of the most businessy of business people.
Yeah.
Are they I think CEOs and stuff?
I think so. Look, I'll use myself as an example. I studied electrical engineering. I am really analytical, like math and all that stuff, calculus. I could do it in my sleep. I can exist in both worlds. I can be a tech geek 1 second and become a creative person the next second. And that's just because I don't allow myself to feel like this is one version of me, this is the second version of me. They're all me.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I think once you just allow yourself to embrace all that you are, you start to realize that there's no disconnect, that they're all the same thing. And I started seeing parallels, honestly, between like science and music. That's, again, another conversation. But I think the most CEO-y of CEOs can still be killer at the violin.
Okay, it's just that they're not investing their energy and time in that, so they would never know.
Not that they won't. Some of them even do. It's like people go to work, and then sometimes at the end of the day, a lot of people go do Muay Thai or boxing or something. They do something on the side, but it's because that's also part of them. The mistake a lot of people make is a lot of people just keep telling themselves that this is me right now, then this is me after. If you just be you all the time.
Well, for instance, I have this one girl, because this is what I mean. This one girl wants to come on the podcast, but she doesn't want to be tagged or anything in it because people at her work will see her, and she doesn't think that talking is a good reflection of her in the corporate world. But if she is being all her and her true authentic self, can't she show herself in every facet of her life without being judged? So it's kind of like you have different faces for different parts of your life.
Yeah.
And that's what, unless you're an artist where you are in the business of being fully yourself, and if people don't like you, that's fine. But in other businesses, you have to wear different face masks. So it's tough.
I don't know. And I used to think that too. I used to think that you have to wear face masks and wear different hats for different people. But it's exhausting. It's like being a certain way with a certain group of friends, and then another group of friends are another way. It's only gonna just stress you out eventually.
Exactly.
At some point, you have to make a decision. You have to decide, you either play these different roles until you lose all your hair from stress, or you just be who you are. And if those people don't accept you, then
find new people.
I'm sorry, I don't have the time.
But what about with your family? This is what I'm saying. You must be different with your family.
No.
What about your dad?
No.
Because there's a different relationship.
Okay, I'll use my dad as a perfect story.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be so mad at me for saying this. But my dad, I'm gonna put my cup down. My dad initially was so not supportive of the artistic side of me, and I understand why. He wanted me to focus on having a proper job out of fear. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. Okay. He wants you to have a proper job to make money. Or...
Yeah. So doctor, engineer, what's the other one? Lawyer. Those were the kind of the jobs that you should be. And I understand the reasoning, because your parents want you to be safe and want you to live.
They want you to be able to support your kids, have money.
Exactly. So he didn't.
All about the money.
It's all about the money. But I understand the reasoning, but I always stuck to my gun, even when me and my dad would butt heads.
Yeah.
And we're very similar in the sense that we have opinions, and it's only in the last 2 years that my dad has just been fully on board with what I do, really on board, to the point where I remember my stepmom wrote me going I was in the house and I heard your song Summer Let's playing, and I thought it was on the radio, and then I went to the living room and your dad was watching the video and he was smiling.
Oh, that's so nice to hear.
And for me, as I think a lot of males would will understand this, that you always want
the father approval, of course,
you know, and I always wanted it, and I felt like, what do I have to do to get it? And I
you know why I think that happens? Because they don't give it to you when you're young. Because every man that I talk to today who has a really great bond with their father, they don't look for approval because they got it when they were young.
Yep.
So it's almost like, did you get that when you were young, that approval, or is that why you're seeking for it still in your adult life?
I think my dad, his way of showing approval was probably not a way that I picked up on.
Okay,
because
you were looking for something else.
Again, different kinds of people, right? Where my dad, I'm again more artistic. My dad is very like different version of himself. But so I didn't see it, and I always wanted it. And it's cool now to see it, and it makes me feel justified in staying true to who I am. I think sometimes you have to be disruptive in order to like put things together. You have to be willing to challenge the status quo, even with the people that care about you the most. Sometimes
it is the people who care about you the most that are your biggest haters.
Yeah, I don't think
haters.
I don't think if it's the word haters. I think
haters. I'm telling you.
I think some people that love you the most can definitely hate. But
they can hurt you the most.
Yeah,
and with the intention of hurting you the most.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it comes from fear. I think people see their lives, see what didn't work for them, and they project that onto you. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest mistake we make, is to assume that we're all the same. We're not all the same. Like, we're all different. And you have to accept that what didn't work for you might work for someone else. You just have to allow them to flourish.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I stuck to my guns, because now I see like my little sister, she's getting into music, and it's a lot easier for her because
you paved the way.
I paved the way. Mm-hmm. Suffered.
Yeah, seriously.
Now she can just take it all easily.
It's always what happens with the oldest child. They get all the freaking slaps on the wrist, and the young ones are like, "Hey."
They're like, "Easy breezy."
Yeah.
No, it's not always easy for her, but yeah, that's so you. I'm glad I did what I did. I'm seeing the proof from my dad, and I don't know. Like, I think you can change anyone's mind, but you have to be willing to stick to your guns.
And believe in yourself.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's get on to opportunity.
Okay.
Do you think that there is abundance in the world? Meaning everything and anything that you want is available to you?
I think there is abundance. I think a lot of people are in positions where the abundance is not made available to them. So I do think that some people just can't. They don't get it easily. They have to work that much harder to get it. So I think when people say things like, opportunity is there for everyone to take, you just have to take it. They don't say, but it might be harder for some people. The same way how, years ago, as a black person, you didn't get the same rights as a white person, or a woman didn't have the same rights, still 100%. Don't have the same rights as still the same thing, right?
Yeah.
There's always struggles. Like, some people have to work that much harder to get what they want. So I think opportunity is always there, but you have to
be self-aware.
Accept that the world, as much as I want it to be a utopia, is not.
Yeah.
And you have to sometimes really find and push. But it's there. I mean, all the things I wanted to do, even music. When I first started music, people did not see me succeeding. Like, I had to push beyond so many people's disbelief in me. And
that's like for every single artist on the daily, and especially if you want to try something new.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you're getting into acting. Like, you have to start at the bottom, and you have to be okay with being at the bottom. Because people will see you and they'll be like, oh, this singer is starting acting, what the hell? Wow, I guess he didn't make it as a singer to start acting. When in reality, it's like, no, you just want to branch out. You want to craft yourself more as a more developed artist or whatever. But you have to be willing to start at the bottom of any field.
Yeah, with music, I definitely had to start at the bottom. But when doors kept closing in my face, at some point I said, I can either keep going to these doors that everyone said I should go through, or make my own house and open my own doors. So that's what I did. I built my own doors. I started doing things on my own. Started putting out content. Like, I worked to build my own studio, so I didn't have to worry about having to go pay for studios. I started putting out my own music, self-publishing, self-releasing, without worrying about a label. And eventually I guess to the point where people start going like, yo, he's doing his own thing. And then the big people start to see you as peers, and eventually you're peers. And that's what you have to do. I think in this world is you have to be willing to not wait. I think that's the mistake everyone does. And I see it a lot with actors. I'm sorry.
I see it a lot. The shade is being thrown again.
No shade. I just see it a lot with actors. And I think I think I can say that because as a musician, I think music is can be so cutthroat that people develop the skill of just like self-generation of opportunity. And I think in the acting realm, a lot of the processes are still very standard. A lot of people don't break free from that standard.
I totally agree.
Right?
I totally agree. Like, literally did acting for a year and a half and got so annoyed with this formula and this closed loop that everyone's stuck in. And I work with actors on a daily. Like, I have a job at the Sim Center where we're all actors, and I hear time and time again, oh, didn't get that role. Oh, well, what else are you doing? I'm going to wait till the next audition.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just putting like, you have to create your own content.
Yeah.
You have to do your own thing. Have a presence online, especially today in this day and age. Internet is everything.
Yep.
So like, it blows my mind that there are still actors today, my age, we're not just talking like 50 plus, my age and younger, who are not having a presence online.
Yep.
This is crazy to me.
It's because people keep following the same
patterns,
the same thing.
Yeah, the traditional methods.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're evolving.
Yeah. At some point, you have to, like you said, it's like you just create your own content. Create your own universe.
Yeah.
And I saw with acting, like, and I think maybe because as what I went through in music, I quickly saw what people were not doing, and I just did it. Like, instead of waiting for auditions and whatnot, create your own short films, invest into your own content, put content out online. Like,
cast other actors.
Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Use Instagram or YouTube and whatever, and make your own stuff. Just be creative. The more creative you are, first of all, you're going to be generating content, you're going to be growing your fan base. Secondly, because you're constantly doing it, you're only getting better and better and better. So stop waiting.
But you know what? I think it's not that people are waiting, it's that people don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
They want to sit back and wait for the audition, so that the only thing they have to do are learn the 30-second lines and then go in and do it. Oh, didn't work out? Cool. I'm done my work for the day.
Yeah.
No, like, building something substantial takes time and effort.
Yeah.
And like, people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
So,
but you know what? That's why it's up to people like you
to
like I high-five that.
We just high-fived.
No, of course you got it.
We're doing the podcast.
Yeah. I keep looking at the mic like
video is extra.
I keep looking at the mic like the mic's the camera. The camera's right there. I'm like talking.
No, you gotta look at me. This is no.
I know. I just want to make sure when I was saying the thing about the thing. Okay, so no, it all boils down to just stepping out of your comfort zone and just doing stuff. Like
finding your own opportunities,
your own thing, and like the whole. If you watch my Instagram videos, me, myself, and Steve, that was born because I just wanted to do it. Yeah. Like, I wanted to do it. I wanted to have fun. First of all, I'm having fun. Yeah. Secondly, I'm doing what I do, which is creating, and you're growing your fan base. And I'm not waiting for an audition. And you know what? Because you do that, you do get more auditions. Yeah. Because people start seeing you as someone that is fighting for what they believe in.
Yeah.
So just fight for what you believe in. There's no secret formula. The only secret is do shit. Can I curse?
Of course.
Fuck yeah.
Profanities, fuck.
Do shit.
Tabarnak.
Fucking A.
Yeah, I so agree. I kind of want to start getting sponsors for a podcast, but I don't want to feel like a sellout.
Why would you be a sellout?
Well, because I want like my listeners to enjoy every little word that we say and not, cut to a commercial being like, oh, she's so annoying. Why did she put a commercial? Now I have to waste 15 seconds of my life. But at the same time, if I want to keep doing this, I need monies.
Yeah.
But I
think there's ways to advertise without advertising.
Yeah, you can advertise in like a cool fucking way.
Yeah, like it's...
in a funny way.
I think people, honestly, like when people reach out to me to promote things, I never throw it in people's faces. Like, it's happening, but you don't see it's happening because it's more like, it's all about what you see and go like, oh, that was cool. And you ask me the question. But like when people start going like, yeah, this is brought to you in part by...
Yeah, I know. This is brought to you in part by... next. Get out. I'll unfollow you right away.
Unless it's Zara. Zara, if you want to sponsor me, I'll totally do that.
Oh, Zara. So down. But yeah, so... Another thing that we wanted to talk about is fake it till you make it.
Okay, yes.
Now this is where our disagreement comes in.
Ah, here we go.
So why do you think that fake it till you make it works?
I don't get.
Explain to me what fake it till you make it means.
Okay, so for me, the whole idea of fake it till you make it, I hate that saying. But it's more about the more you believe in something about yourself, the more you'll make it real. Like the more you'll live it, and you see it a lot, and you see it a lot with I use actors a lot as an example. Like actors that play a certain role over and over and over again eventually start to absorb traits of the character they're playing, right? It's like for me, myself, and Steve, the British character, do it so often that I find myself in my day-to-day just talking with my British accent because I do it so often that you start to become part of the thing you're projecting. And that's what it boils down to, is like you project something so that eventually just becomes part of who you are. It's like I keep saying about happiness, like it's easier to be sad than it is to be happy. Like I feel like when you're in this dark place, it's easy to stay in a dark place.
Yeah, it is.
It's harder to get out and be happy. But if you choose to be happy and you start acting happy, you'll eventually convince yourself that you're happy, that you'll start being happy, right? And I think it all boils down to you training yourself to believe something until it becomes intrinsic.
But there has to be a core feeling in you that is happy, because you can fake that you're happy, and then all of a sudden, if that's not your truth, I feel like you're going to run out of that energy and you're going to crash and burn even more than before.
Yeah, but you have to want it though. It's not about pretending.
It's not fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that's why I don't like that saying
Okay.
about, fake it till you make it. It's not about like, someone asks you like, are you happy? You go like, yes, I am, even though you're deep down sad. Like if you're sad and you need to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's about wanting to be happy and then starting to do things that project happiness because you want to be happy.
Okay, yeah.
It's not about doing it to hide. It's about doing it because you want to get to a better place. And it's like anything. It's like going to the gym, right? Going to the gym. The first time you go to the gym, if you're not used to working out, you tell yourself, I want to get in better shape. I want to get in better shape. You go to the gym, you work out for like half an hour. You're like, I don't want to do this ever again. It's stressful. It's hard. But you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it. And eventually, it just becomes who you are.
Yeah.
Because you wanted it. Like I said, it's the whole fake it till you make it is misleading.
It just helps you kickstart it into momentum to get to where you want to be.
But you have to want it. You have to want it.
You have to want it.
Yeah.
That I understand. I can agree with you.
There you go. I convinced you. But like honestly, like people that pretend to be one thing just so they can hide, that's a different situation. If you're pretending to hide from the truth, then you're only hurting yourself. But if you're accepting that there's a certain thing about you that needs to change and you want to change it and you're willing to start taking steps to get better, it's those steps that are technically the fake it till you make it that you're taking to become better.
Do you see that in people today? That they pretend to be something they're not?
For all the wrong reasons, you see it sometimes. And you also see people doing it for the right reasons.
Okay.
When people do it for the wrong reasons, you can always tell.
Like what? Give me an example of someone faking it and like pretending to be something they're not for the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons, well, you see it a lot in unfortunately in the music industry. Where people project an image of not necessarily wealth, but a certain lifestyle that I find perpetuates the wrong image, and I think it's very damaging to the audience. Where people, and again, this goes back to, it's not just today, but I think it goes back to way before, but where, like for example, in hip hop, the idea that like you have to be, right now is I think it's lean everyone's on, whatever the drug is, but like you have to be fucked up. Like, yeah, I'm happy because I'm fucked up. I'm taking this and that.
What the hell's lean?
Lean is a drug. Things like cough syrup and like...
okay, it's like a drink, purple drink?
It's a purple drink, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But like, this image that you perpetuate that you have to be fucked up to be a certain thing, I hate that image because it perpetuates the wrong image because kids copy it. And it ends up getting either kids killed, kids addicted to certain things, or it's just the wrong image. So that kind of faking it or bullshit... I find bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like anything that is perpetuating an image that is damaging to society in general,
Okay.
like I have a problem with that.
But what if it's not faking it and that's actually who they are?
If it's
Because I know a bunch of people who are in the music industry who have a lot of videos on, like, you know, killing people and going to rob someone's house, and that's their truth. So they're actually just like saying their life, and I'm like, holy crap, I don't want to be involved in that, but that's their truth.
Well, if it's saying like art is about putting out what's real to you.
Yeah.
So if something's real, I always feel like you can tell. Like if it's real, you can tell. And if they're just telling their story, that's one thing. It's just when people perpetuate as like a fake image just because.
How can you sniff out the fakeness? What is it?
I don't know. For me, you just see it. It just seems so inauthentic. Like there's nothing real about it. It just feels like you just.
Because it doesn't connect with you.
It doesn't connect. It doesn't even connect with them. Like you can see it like in their eyes. They're just like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this?
Okay, yeah.
So no, I have a problem with people that perpetuate images that are damaging to society, and they're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
They're just on autopilot.
Yeah, like listen, when I was making music about suicide, it's because that was my life.
Yeah.
You know, like that was my life. I was telling my story. There's a lot of songs I did back then that, like people listen to, they probably would feel uncomfortable because they're like, this is real. And that's art. It's like you're putting out who you are, and it's unapologetic. But I just don't like when it's weird. I don't like when art meets marketing for the sake of appealing to an audience. So you bullshit something, you put them together, and then
like clickbait, but for musicians.
It's like, here you go, and it's not real, and then people buy into it, and it creates this culture that eventually becomes real through people watching it because they think that's what they have to do. And that for me is very damaging. I think we have to be careful what we show, especially if it's not real. Like if it's real, it's real. If it's not real, why are you doing it?
Yeah,
I'm not saying don't censor yourself. Just be real, though. That's all I'm saying.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
Just knowing why you're doing what you're doing.
Why are you doing what you're doing? Question everything.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? Like, are you been happy? Are you happy? If you're not happy.
Are you happy right now in life?
I'm happy right now in life.
Yeah?
Yeah, actually, I'm in a much, much better place. I do have moments where everyone has moments of doubt where they're like, I'm not sure, you know. But I think that's part of being human. But I think the key to happiness is trying to outweigh the bad with the good, or being able to see the good. I think a lot of the time when people are in bad places, all they can see is the bad. They can't see the good.
I know.
And sometimes and again, it goes back to fake it till you make it. It's allow yourself to see the good things. Like allow yourself. It's like people that go to work every day and they're just like, I hate my job, and they go through the same motions. And one day, as they're walking, they decide to look up randomly, and they see a statue that they've never seen before because they never took the time to see it. And like, oh my God, that's a beautiful statue. I can't believe I never saw that. And
the little details.
Little something. And then in that moment, they find an appreciation in something that became monotonous to them.
Yeah.
It's all about perception. It's about choosing to want to see something a little better. And I think over time, it becomes real to you.
I love that.
Thank you.
As an artist, how do you find managing your time? Because that's effing hard, man. It's really hard.
What is time?
What is time?
Time is a construct. It's man-made. No, I can talk about that. It's another podcast. Or is it? No.
Or is it? No, let's get into it.
Time is a construct. No, it's. Oh, man, I don't. I wish I could say.
How do you manage your time?
I wish I could say I got like 8 hours sleep every single day.
No, I see your stories. Sometimes you get 3.
Sometimes I get 3. Sometimes I get less. And it's not healthy. Like, listen, I'm the first to admit that it's not healthy, and I'm trying to identify that and even get better at that. Because even I'm recognizing like Steve, sleep, man. So definitely try and get some sleep. But it's hard because when you do what you love, you there's a lot to do, especially when you're self-managing yourself. When you're and I have a manager, you know, but still, when you're creating, it's not something that you can just throw in on a regular schedule and be like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do from this time to this time, and that's it. No, it's like sometimes you'll tell yourself, I'll do this for an hour, and it turns to 7 hours, and there's always just a lot to do. You just have to love it. you have to love what you do. I think it goes beyond just artists. I think anyone that's doing something that they're really passionate about, whether it's like if you're passionate about building toilets, it's gonna take time because you're gonna invest that much more time into it because you're that much more passionate about it because it's your baby. So time management becomes tricky, but you do what you have to do because you love it that much. But I do think every person that has a passion that is following it needs to become self-aware of the point that they need to rest. Because because it's one thing to keep telling yourself you have to keep working. But if you burn out, then you're burnt out for a long time.
It's about the yin and the yang, man.
Yeah, you can't burn yourself out.
The rest and the intensity. Because you can't be intense without the rest.
Yeah, no, you need to rest. I mean, I found myself, it was like a month ago, I lost my voice. Because I was over pushing it to the point where like it needed a break and I didn't listen. I was just like, no, one more song. Yeah. And I did that one more song and then I did a show and then after the show I was like, and my voice was done. It was done. And I was scared because it didn't come back for like a solid 2 weeks. Okay. I was terrified. I was like, what if I damage it? I've damaged it for good.
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me. But it was a lesson because it forced me to stop and start listening to myself. Like, Steve, when your voice is tired.
Yeah.
Give it a break. You're like, let it rest. And yeah, plus, when you if you ever lost your voice and you're in this industry, do you know what you have to do to get your voice back?
What?
So
tell me all the tricks.
So there's
a certain drink, eh?
Yeah, there's certain drinks you can take, but like the quickest, if you have a show, like in 3 days or something, you need to get your voice back. You have to. There are these suppositories you have to take.
Oh no.
So unfun. But you do what you got to do, and it all goes back to what I was saying before.
Are they big?
I don't. Are they? They're missile-like shapes.
Oh, okay, so that's big enough.
You look at it, you're like, no. Why? I remember when I bought it. At first, I didn't know that's what they were, so I went to the pharmacy, and I was like, I need my voice is lost. I need to get it back. And you have a show in like 3 days. And the guy was like, no problem, follow me. And he was so happy to hand them to me, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And just like, they go up your butt. Yeah. He was so happy to tell me that, and I was just like, "I hate you right now." But I did it.
Good to know,
suppositories. But I did it. You know why? Because when you love what you do,
you're willing to do
almost
anything.
Nothing you wouldn't do to do it, as long as you're not harming yourself or harming anyone.
Yeah.
Don't harm anyone or yourself.
And do you think that the music industry is out to get you? Because I was listening to an interview with Ed Sheeran. Mm-hmm. I love that guy. And he's like, I went in with open eyes, like doe eyes. And you're like, oh my God, everyone's here to help you. Everyone is your best friend. And then you quickly realize that people are in this for themselves. People are like out to get you, literally. Do you find that that's the case?
I mean, I think in any industry, especially any industry where you are the product.
Exactly.
Could be acting, music, whatever the case be, you're always going to meet people that are just in it for their own benefit. Like, you're a product and they want to benefit off of you. Mm-hmm. And they're going to pretend to be your best friend. And then once they get what they want, they're going to be bi. Or if they can step on you to get ahead, they will do that. And I see it all the time. Actually, in fact, it's funny because I actually talked about that today on my Instagram story. Something about how, like, because someone actually did bring it up to me. And they were like, is it hard for you to recognize someone who loves you for you or someone who just loves you for what they think you can do for them?
Talk about that.
And it used to honestly stress me out a lot before. And I just realized that, like, I don't want to waste my time thinking too much about it. Like, I just want to do what I do, love what I do. And if I keep staying true to who I am, eventually all those people they'll fade away. They'll have no choice but to fade away. I
seriously believe that.
Yeah.
I think that you attract the people that have your best intentions at heart.
Yeah.
And if you're really a good people reader, you can sniff out the bullshit.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Like, I had people contacting me, like, being like, oh, I would love to come on your podcast. That would be great visibility for me. Like, just saying that to me. Like, well, okay.
Like, thanks for the honesty.
Thanks for the honesty. Sure, I'll have you on. But, like, I want to have a conversation, and not just for you, but for other people who might be listening who will, benefit from the fact that they want to become musicians.
Yeah.
Life is hard as a musician, and, like, you're giving yourself to other people right now. yeah, maybe this will get you a little bit of visibility and maybe a couple followers, but is that really what you want? What are your intentions at that point? You know?
I just did want to hang out with you, though.
That's it.
That was real reason.
That's it.
I need an excuse.
Right?
I was like, how can I hang out with her?
How can I hang out with her?
She's doing a podcast.
Let's do it.
Let me just write her and be like, hey, you want to hang out? Let me do a podcast.
Yeah, no, but so it's just like, you're gonna attract the right people, and the wrong people will fade. I truly, truly do believe that. Yeah. Yeah,
that's how it always is. Just honestly, just the biggest advice you can give anyone is just be thyself.
Be thyself.
Be thyself. Be thyself. Be you. And over time, the people that will love you for you will stay. The people that don't will go away, or eventually they'll actually change their minds, and maybe they'll grow as people. But just be you. But like trying to conform and trying to be something for someone else, or having to be this person here and be this person there, it's only taxing on yourself.
It's easy for us to say, though, I find, because we're adults. I look at a lot of kids and a lot of teenagers right now who are living under their parents' roof, and that's really tough for them because they have to conform to what their parents expect of them. And that's really tough. Like, what advice would you give a kid who is literally trapped in their house, who can't freely express themselves? What would you tell them?
Man, that's hard. Because I was that kid.
I was that kid too. You have to like be a certain person, and then you leave, and you're like, oh, I can be me now.
Yeah, I think we tell someone like that is eventually you'll have control.
Yeah, so you have to wait it out.
It's like it's not about waiting it out. It's just like certain things are not meant for you to grasp yet, you know. But at the same time, talk about it to your friends and people that will listen, and but some things don't come right away, and that's the unfortunate reality, that some things don't come right away, but eventually they will. Yeah,
I think wait it out is a horrible, horrible piece of advice, and I don't want to say that.
I'm just trying to find out
what I want to say is like, fill your ears with positivity.
Yeah.
Literally, if everybody around you is super negative and you only have yourself and you can't leave this super toxic environment, I would say just fill your ears with people who inspire you. Like for me, that was Gary Vee. Yeah. Like Gary Vee changed my whole world, made me into like this person I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, fill your ears and just hope for the best, man. You can choose your life soon.
No, honestly, I wish there was like a remedy for every single problem.
I know, we could just take a potion.
You just be like, here you go. But you can't.
Like, person cheated on me. Potion.
Yeah,
okay, moving on to the next.
Much better. It's like, unfortunately,
parents hate gay people, and I'm gay. Give the potion to the parents. They love you now.
You
like,
know?
For the worst problems, like racist, ageist.
Yeah.
Like, the world is a shitty place. This is why I'm doing this podcast, to bring that to light. But you know what I'm upset about this episode? No. We haven't disagreed about anything. And I want to find...
You wanted to.
For the last 10 minutes...
You wanted to.
We have 12 minutes left.
Okay.
The last 12 minutes...
We can't go over time. What is this?
We can.
What is this strict rules?
No, we should go with the flow.
Gosh.
Okay? But I want to find something that we really don't agree on.
Okay.
In the music industry. How did you find your voice, first of all?
How did I find my voice? By just like
years and years of hard work?
No, honestly, like I said before, I keep doing that. Before, I just did music because I could. I just sang because I could. But I think going through what I went through made me have to discover myself. Like, I think having to discover myself made me realize what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it. And I think that's how I discovered my voice. It's all about it all just boils down to, again, just be you, find out what makes sense for you.
But you, it's so easy to say that, but people don't know who they are. How can they be them when they're walking around not knowing who they are?
Because people don't know who they are because everyone keeps telling you who you're supposed to be. And that white noise can become so loud. But I think maybe that's it. Question things. You know, if someone's telling you like, yeah, you have to become a doctor because your uncle's a doctor, your dad was a doctor, I was a doctor. Ask yourself, like, do I want to be a doctor though? Like,
not just that, but self-doubt is literally instilled in you because of the people around you. Like, oh, you're not a good drawer, sweetheart. You shouldn't be that. Oh, you're really bad at school. You're not going to be very smart when you grow up. So like you just sponge all of these different opinions about yourself and you become that, and then you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Because everyone is so infiltrating in your head. So I guess I'm just like, how the hell can someone filter all of that noise?
You have to just question everything. I think, and it's hard. I think everyone has to question. I hate that we live in the world where people say that is a standard process for everything. Like, there's a standard, like, oh, every kid goes through the same educational process in school. Meanwhile, most kids aren't going to succeed at this because they're meant to succeed at that. But you keep telling them that they have to do this, so they never really discover what would have really worked for them. You know, what would have really made them feel alive. It's like that the whole saying is like, you know, judging. I don't know.
A book by its covers.
But judging a dog by its inability to fly.
Oh, okay,
of course, it can't fly.
It's
not supposed to fly.
Yeah.
But it's good at other things. But if you keep telling the dog that, well, he's flying and he's flying, why aren't you flying?
Yeah.
That's the problem. And we keep
We
keep
find
this
our
cycle.
own tools.
Yeah, we keep this cycle going, and it's a very damaging cycle. So question everything. I questioned everything growing up. I think I went to Sunday school, and I think my Sunday school teacher hated me because I questioned everything. And this whole idea that just take things at face value is bullshit. Don't take things at face value. Find out what it really means.
Yeah.
Dig deeper. If it's true after your research, then sure, it's true. For now, it might change. But question. I think that's the most important thing. I think that's what it means to be human. We're naturally curious.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I hate the whole expression "curiosity killed the cat."
Oh yeah.
No, what killed the cat was probably it was stuck at home.
No, this is one thing that we can disagree upon.
Okay, here we go.
I love the expression "curiosity killed the cat."
Okay.
Because when you're too curious about something, you can get hurt.
Of course.
It's like dangerous investigating for journalism. When you're pressing and pushing and you want to actually go out there and catch people in the act, like, you can get killed.
Yeah,
but we've seen that.
But you know what? Change would never happen if people weren't willing to put themselves on the line. It's like Martin Luther King or anyone that has died for a cause because they believed in it so strongly. It was curiosity that made them go like, well, I'm black, but does that mean I'm any less human? And if they didn't have that thought and didn't follow through with that thought, knowing full well that curiosity would probably kill that cat, I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you.
It's true. I love that.
She wanted to disagree, but no.
But you know what? Like, curiosity still...
Yeah. I'm not saying it won't kill the cat. I'm just saying that I hate that saying because it makes people think that, okay, well, I shouldn't be inquisitive.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the saying still goes, but the saying is needed for evolution.
The saying still goes sometimes. It's not necessarily true. Like, you can be curious and, like, probably unlock the secrets of the universe and still survive it.
That's true.
You know, like, it's like people that have a really busy day the next day, and then the day before, like, it's like, okay, I'll take Sunday and Monday. They're at home on Sunday, and they're just dreading Monday. They're like, Monday. Meanwhile, Sunday is passing by, and they're like not enjoying it because they're dreading Monday. And then Monday comes, and most of the time, it's not that bad. You know, Monday, and they're just like, why was I dreading Monday so much? You know, like, sometimes we fear the future so much that we forget to live in the present.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like those sayings that make you fear what's could happen if you do this, because they're not necessarily true.
Okay, I do understand. So I'll agree with you then.
I know.
You changed it. I know.
Still
my effect on people.
Still want to find something we'll disagree on. I'm waiting for you to find something. I got all day.
Let me think. Well, First, let me get to our last questions so we
okay.
can.
Are we always wrapping up here?
We are wrapping up just because it's always an hour for our audience.
Oh,
Don't worry, you're gonna be back. This is
Really?
gonna be like a weekly usual, guys.
that's what I'm saying.
So one of the last questions is, can you give our audience a life hack that will help them be better every single day in anything? It can be anything. It can be like, guys, I literally set the coffee machine the night before, so I have coffee the minute I wake up. Or like anything, like small things or huge things. Life hack.
Oh man, you put me on the spot for that one.
Think about it.
A life hack
Yeah.
that'll change
Someone's day and make it better.
I'm sure I have tons of life hacks. No, this is not necessarily a life hack, but it's something I believe in.
Okay.
And I think it makes you better.
Okay.
Like
Hit us.
I hit you with
Hit us
with the
with it.
knowledge. So a lot of people, especially in music or even in acting, whenever they need to buy software, they'll want to crack it. They'll, like, for example, if they need to get software to edit their videos, they'll want to crack it. If they want to get software to produce their music, they'll want to crack it. I'm of the belief that when you do that, you devalue what that thing means to you, and you at the same time devalue yourself. That's why I think if you want to take something seriously, then you have to take it upon yourself to invest into it and be willing to pay how much it will cost to get it legit, because only then will you actually see yourself of value in it.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
You know?
They say that when you pay for a service, you're more likely to actually follow through with that service.
Yeah.
Like if you get something for free, you won't take
You don't
it
really
seriously.
care. Yeah, you don't really care.
That's why you have to charge people for a service,
Yeah.
because they'll take it seriously. This is their time, not just their money, but their time that they're paying for.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah, I think be willing to invest into yourself. Don't always, sometimes the shortcuts, they're not worth it. They're not worth it. Even if you don't get caught, it's not about, even if you get caught, you probably won't get caught, but it's not about getting caught. It's about you.
Yeah.
It's about how far you will now go based on that. And usually if you're willing to cut corners to get somewhere, then you're not going to see your own, like I said, value in it.
Well, yeah, but if you're willing to cut corners, it means that you're not in the right business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, the whole point of finding what you love is because you love the worst part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You love the shit of what you're doing. I
Yeah.
think about fitness and I'm like, yeah, sometimes shit is really hard, but even when it's really hard, I love it. I'm not willing to cut the corners because I love the fucking grind.
Yeah.
You know? So that's beautiful.
So it's not really a life hack. It's more like a life philosophy.
Yeah, which is a life hack. I love it. Last question.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. Last question for you is, for the person who is about to give up on their dream, what would you tell them to not give up?
To not give up. You're probably closer than you think. And usually when you give up, you were just there.
Ugh.
And actually one of my favorite books is The Alchemist. Yeah, one of my favorite books ever. Actually, my favorite book is Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, but that's a different story. But The Alchemist, my second favorite book. And the reason why I love it so much is because of a lesson at the end. Actually, a lesson that someone tells him at the main character at the beginning. He tells him that right before you're supposed to get what you deserve, life will throw one more obstacle at you.
Wow.
And it's usually the one that people will break on.
Oh, wow.
And it's to test whether you really want what you want. And I remember, it's at the end of the book, he gets tested one more time. I'm not going to spoil how, but he gets tested. But then he remembers that story and he follows through and then he gets what he deserves. So usually that one obstacle that comes out of nowhere and you're just like, why? And then you want to give up. That's usually that's the moment. That's like a key moment. And if you give up, you will regret it. So life will usually throw that one last obstacle at you. It'll throw it at you, and it's that obstacle that usually makes you want to give up on everything. And it's easy to want to give up, but if you give up, you will regret it. If you don't, you will get what you deserve. Even if it's not at that moment,
Yeah.
you'll get it. But don't give up. Don't give up. Believe in yourself. You'll get there. One way or another, you'll get there.
Even if it's the hardest thing that you're going through,
You'll get there.
You're supposed to go through it to get where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw in the towel. Just keep going. Keep trekking.
Keep on trekking, baby.
Check.
Are we done? Are we done?
It's a sad moment.
No.
We both don't like goodbyes.
No.
No, I know. But this is not goodbye. This is just à tantôt.
I know, but. But
they can't see the butt.
Oh, you can't see.
There are butt cheeks in the back of this wall.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you want to go check out Steven's drawing, I highly suggest that you go on YouTube. Can you see it? It's what did you draw, Steven?
Well, it's supposed to be like a metaphorical representation of my hair. I drew it more like a flame. The reason why I drew my hair is because my hair has been a subject of debate in my life for such a long time. A lot of people told me, cut it. It's not standard. It's not this. It's not normal. You're supposed to cut your hair, blah, blah, blah. And I stuck to my guns. And for a long time, I'd walk into a room and people look at me like, but you have to, for me, it's a reminder that I don't care about what people have to say or think about me, so long as I'm being honest with myself. And I'm happy. The rest doesn't matter. And you know what happened over time? People have come to respect the hair and actually like it and love it because I love it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I drew that. So you are everything. There's a little quote there. You are everything and nothing at all, and all the things in between.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And we leave it at that. And we piece it.
All right.
Peace.
Deuces.
Deuces.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, I'm so sad we're done.